Roberto, you've asked me to tell you about the meeting between Mario Lanza and Renata Tebaldi. Now, this was an important meeting because Tebaldi was testimony to what Lanza sounded like in person. She was in America singing in Los Angeles and New York, and while in Los Angeles, she asked to meet him. She wanted to meet him. So they arranged this meeting between her and Lanza at the Warner Brothers Studios, where he was filming Serenade. Lanza welcomed her in his very Italian, warm, effusive way, and she actually said, I was very surprised that he welcomed me in such a Latin way. Well, of course, Lanza was typical Italian, even though he was born in America. And so they showed her, while she was there, they showed her the operatic arias that they'd already recorded for the film, for the movie Serenade. And she was very impressed, to the point, actually moved to tears by what she saw on the screen. So having had this pleasant afternoon at the studios, Lanza invited her to his home for a musical evening, and as well as Tebaldi and Lanza's wife and mother and father, there was also Giacomo Spadoni, who was Lanza's coach. And Lanza got up and sang a couple of arias. Tebaldi, this was the first time that Tebaldi heard him live, because prior to this, she had only heard him in films and at the studio when they showed her the music, the arias that they recorded for Serenade. So her reaction when she heard him sing was, wow, you know, what a voice, what an incredible sound. And then she joined him in a duet and went back to Italy and told the conductor, Olivero de Fabritis, she said, listen, all this talk about Lanza has a small voice and he can't sustain and he can't sing an opera and he's only a film star. She said, it's absolute nonsense. She said, this is a great voice, a great talent, and we must do everything possible to bring him to Italy to sing in opera. Tebaldi was not the only one to have been impressed by Lanza's voice and talent. I mean, there were many others, but she was definitely very, very interested in trying to do something with him and an operatic career. So I think that the important thing is that she was one of the many celebrities, if you can say that, or one of the many singers that heard him and could testify to the fact that this was really an operatic voice and not a microphone or a voice that was too small to sing this or that. And I think this is a very important thing, that Tebaldi actually, you know, met him, heard him, and was incredibly impressed. Now, you know, it's been said that, yes, but he could do this, he couldn't do that, and whatever. The thing is that the voice of Lanza was such that it was complete in the entire range of 2 octaves. It was incredibly beautiful in tone, in color, and was really an endless voice, I mean, without limitations. Victor de Sabata, the great conductor, wanted Lanza to sing Andrea Chenier at La Scala. You know, Victor de Sabata knew a voice when he heard one. Covent Garden was interested in having Lanza sing Otello. And Lanza himself wanted very much, his dream was to sing opera. So, towards the end of his life, he was talking to Riccardo Vitale, the artistic director of the Rome Opera, and they were negotiating for Lanza to sing Canio at the Rome Opera for the 1960-61 season. And of course, we know the rest. Lanza died in 1959, and this never eventuated. However, the fact that top musicians, singers, conductors wanted him, considered him a voice capable of singing Otello, Chenier, or Cavaradossi really tells you everything there is to know. And hopefully, people will start believing the truth instead of listening to the nonsense that's been perpetuated, the false legend that's been perpetuated for the last 60, 70 years, that Lanza couldn't do this, that the voice was too small, that he couldn't sustain. So I think that's why the Tebaldi, among others, because there's Licia Albanese, George London, and many more, but I thought that this meeting with Tebaldi was particularly important. So, this is the story that I think needed to be told.
Thank you, Armando.
Pleasure.